Hi, Rob here. Welcome to Grammar for IELTS. In this lesson, we're talking about adjective clauses, relative clauses. This is part 2. We're going to talk about how to reduce them. We want to reduce them because we need to move up in the bands. So for a band 6, it's a mix of simple and complex sentence forms. Relative clauses make a complex sentence, so you need them for a band 6 or more. When we reduce them, it becomes a complex structure. So that's what you need for a band 7 or more. So we need to reduce them to be able to move up. I'm going to show you how to do that here. So there are 3 rules to reducing a relative clause. The first one is when the antecedent is the subject of the relative clause, we can't leave out the relative clause marker. So the woman that called me was quite rude. The woman was quite rude, or the woman called me, the woman was quite rude. We're connecting these 2 sentences together, so we're being more efficient with language. So let's have a look. The woman was quite rude, as I said. There's our antecedent, and the woman and that are the same thing. That is the relative clause marker, also called a relative pronoun because the subject, because that and the woman are the same thing. So the pronoun replaces the noun and called me. So we have an object here as well. So the woman and that are the same, and we can't reduce it. Look. So the woman called me was quite rude. That sentence does not make sense. So that's why. Because the antecedent is the subject of the relative clause. Can't reduce it. Okay? Now, we can reduce a relative clause when the antecedent is the direct or indirect object of the relative clause. In this case, it is possible to leave out the relative clause marker. So the jacket that he bought was expensive. He bought a jacket. The jacket was expensive. There's our subject. There's our verb. The jacket was expensive. What jacket? So it's a defining relative clause. It's essential information. And what did he buy? He bought what? What did he buy? He bought the jacket. Okay? He bought the jacket. The jacket was expensive. The jacket that he bought was expensive. Okay? In this case, the jacket he bought was expensive. So in this case, you're going to get a higher mark for leaving out, for reducing the relative clause, for taking out. Another example, so he bought the jacket, the jacket is the direct object of buy. So buy is a transitive verb. You need to understand transitive verbs versus intransitive verbs, which is explained in one of our videos. In this case, apply is intransitive. You can't say he applied the job. We apply for the job. We talk about this more in the vocabulary, in the lexical resource part of this course. The job is in Brisbane. He applied for the job. There you go. He applied for the job. Same idea. And again, we can reduce it. The job he applied for is in Brisbane. So it's quite mechanical. It's almost mathematical, the way that we can look at language in this way. This subject that we're talking about here is called syntax. Syntax means how do we make sentences? So watch our other videos on what is a sentence, sentence types part 1, 2 and 3. These are important. Okay, so when we reduce them, when we reduce this type, we are left with a participle phrase. So look, when the be verb, this is rule number 3, when the be verb follows the relative clause marker, it is possible to leave out the relative clause marker, but we must also take out or leave out the be verb. And the be verb means even if it's in the future, present or the past, we can leave it out. So the woman is my student. The woman is standing at reception. These two sentences are connected. So we're going to use a be verb in the continuous tenses. Present continuous, past continuous in this case. The woman standing at reception is my student. So standing at reception is a participle phrase, okay? Now, this is a present participle. ing can be a present participle. So you need to understand what ing is in English. Could be a noun, or in this case, it's a present participle. A participle is when we take a verb and we change it into an adjective. Okay. The story which was published in the paper was incorrect. The story was published in the paper. Full stop. The story was incorrect. Connecting these two sentences. And there we have it. The story published in the paper was incorrect. Now you'll notice that the woman is standing is an active sentence. She is doing the verb. Whereas in this case here, with the past participle, this is a passive, because we don't say who published the story. So really we've got active and passive. So understanding transitive and intransitive is essential to understanding how to do this. And it's also essential to understand the passive voice, which you need really for a band 7 or more. And especially you need it if you're doing the academic test. Very, very important to understand how to do this and understand the basic ideas behind it. So the ideas of transitive verbs versus intransitive verbs, the idea of passive, the idea of active. Once we get to this stage, once we have these participle phrases, we can actually move them around. Standing at reception, the woman is my student. That would be very impressive if you could do that. Published in the paper, the story was incorrect. So once we can do this, then we can start to move things. When you can do that, that is showing flexibility. And flexibility is an important idea in grammar that you need for a band 7 or more. So I would expect this type of sentence at a band 7 or more. But some of you will be able to do it at lower levels, and that's great too. So thank you very much. I know it's quite technical. If you're not sure, watch it again and again and again. And also start to look for these reduced clauses in when you're reading and writing. Thank you very much and have a great day.